Hi, I'm Angela and welcome to my channel Befriend and Tend. About a year ago, I was really struggling with an energy crisis. I was experiencing COVID fatigue, I was going through menopause, I gave up caffeine, and it was just really a bit of a struggle to get myself going and to find energy for the day and for all of the projects and things that I wanted to do. So I tried a lot of different strategies to boost my energy, and today I'm going to talk about 5 really impactful ways to lift your energy. So I'm just going to get the first point out of the way immediately, which is taking care of your physical body. And we know what all of this is, right? It is eating right, it's getting enough sleep, it's getting exercise, and it's being hydrated. Out of all of these things, getting enough water is the easiest thing to do. And because I have a lot of houseplants, I get that visual imagery of a plant looking wilted, and then when I give it some water, it perks up in a couple of hours. And I literally feel like that is what happens to me whenever I drink a glass of water. So I drink 1 or 2 in the morning before I have my decaf coffee and my breakfast, and then I'm just constantly refilling the glass throughout the day. The next thing that I think is really important for energy is moving your body. It's sort of like, like a car that's like stuck in your driveway for a long time, and then if you decide to start it up and take it for a drive, it doesn't run quite as smoothly. And that is what it's like if you're really sedentary for a long period of time and you don't get out and about. Now, I do have a dog, and my dog does help me get out and walk almost every day. And walking's not the only way to move your body. I love YouTube. Obviously, because I have a channel, but I also love the workout videos. I love the dance workouts, and I love the HIIT workouts, and I really like those because they have a lot of variety, and every little exercise thing is short and sweet. In terms of nutrition, there are a lot of different philosophies, and I'm definitely not versed in probably any of them. But for me, I just want to say that the sugar crash is real, and I have a very sweet tooth. So paying attention when I'm craving sugar and trying to give myself the smallest serving possible, or maybe even possibly substitute my desire for a sweet snack to maybe, instead of having a granola bar, have some frozen grapes or something. That is really helpful. Now, sleep is a big topic, and I have a separate video, which I will link to in the description below, about how you can get a good night's sleep. But being well rested will certainly help you to feel more energetic than being completely exhausted. So the next thing I like to pay attention to are all of the little irritations and annoyances and things that we notice, and they sap our energy, but we usually notice them on our way to do something else, so we don't feel like we have the time really to take care of it. And so we don't. And then the next time we walk by, the same thing is staring us in the face. So taking care of these annoyances can do a lot to preserve your energy, because what happens when all these little irritations and annoyances bounce off you, they kind of leak or pull a little bit of energy out of you. So some examples of this might be having a dirty light switch, or a squeaky door, or a welcome mat that needs to be replaced, or a car that needs to be washed, the dead leaves on your house plant that need to be picked off. There are so many of these things. And so what I like to do, once a month, I'll walk around the house with a notepad, and I'll just make note of everything that is a little bit of an energy drain for me. And then, obviously I have to sort of divide them into 2 lists, because sometimes these things take a lot of time or a lot of money to fix, and I'm not able to do that. But if I'm able to take care of these smaller things, that is definitely helpful. So then I'll spend an hour and I'll just run through and just cross off as many of those things as I can. And it preserves my energy so that I can focus on the things that I want to do. With the bigger annoyances, like we need to have our siding replaced, but then we also had windows on the main level had been fogged up. So I was pretty much keeping the blinds closed all the time. And when the choice came, well, which do we fix first? I was like, windows, because I knew how much the fogged windows bothered me, whereas the siding, I don't see it, So thinking in terms of the things that sap your energy can be really helpful in terms of prioritizing major expenditures. Now, one of my favorite ways to boost energy is to introduce novelty. And I just love it because there are so many different ways to do that. I mean, you can go to the grocery store and you can stare at the spice aisle and you can grab a spice you've never heard of and then go home, Google a recipe and cook something completely new. Or you can grab a can of paint and paint a door or paint a wall, or go to Home Depot and get a new plant or vegetable and plant it in your garden. You can go to the library or bookstore and go to a completely different section than the one that you normally go to and grab a book. Or you can watch a TV show that's in an area that doesn't interest you. I know when I was first married, my husband was really into sci-fi and fantasy, and I was not into either of those things. But over time, I've become interested, and my children all loved it, and so now I fully embraced it, and it's definitely enriched my life. It's so empowering to try and add a little bit of novelty into your life because, number one, it makes it really obvious all of the choices that we have and how fortunate we are to have such abundance around us. And then there's just that little bit of excitement and interest that comes from something that's new and different. And so this is definitely one of my favorite ways to boost my energy. It's probably not my favorite way. I think my favorite way is nurturing connections. And by this I mean, how we all have that friend or that person or those people in our lives that when we're together and we're talking to them, our energy gets elevated, both of us. There's a synergy, when we come together, it's just fun and energetic and just really empowering. And I think it's really important to nurture those connections and to reach out and also to try and meet new people who can help, that we can also connect with in that way, where we give them energy and they give us energy. It's just a really beautiful thing. The flip side of that is that there are people in our lives that have the opposite effect, that might drain or deplete us a little bit. And when it's possible to spend less time or to put more boundaries around those people, I think it's really important to do that. But also recognize that sometimes it's not going to be possible. If you're a caregiver for an elderly parent or for a special needs child, you're doing it out of love, right? And so it's just something that we, try to manage by taking care of ourselves and by getting help and doing all of those things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just pay attention to the experience that you have when you're connecting with and interacting with people, and notice whether you feel the sense of uplift, being energized, or whether you have the sense of being having your energy drained or sucked away, and just protecting your energy because it is a valuable resource. And my final tip today for increasing your energy is to reset the room whenever you leave it. And this, for me, it's been huge because I didn't realize how much of an energy drain it was to come into a room and to not have it ready for whatever I had in mind. There have been times, I have this whole setup here, YouTube, with all my lights and my camera and everything, and there have been times when after I filmed a video, I just leave everything up and I'm tired and I just go cook dinner or I go to bed or I don't know, whatever reason. And that's just really bad because when I come down in the morning and everything's out and it just looks cluttered, it just sucks the energy out of me. And so taking the 5 minutes to put things away and have the room look fresh and tidy and ready for whatever I want to do the next time I come into it is huge. It's really, really helpful. And the same thing is true with cooking. When you walk into a kitchen and it's time to cook dinner and then everything is a mess. There's dishes in the sink, the counters are messy, the milk's been left out. I mean, it just sucks the motivation to cook right out of you because you've got to spend 10 minutes cleaning and tidying up before you can actually cook. So resetting the room is a great way to protect your energy so that when you are interested in starting something new, you can just jump right in. So I have 10 more tips that I'm going to talk about in the next 2 videos, but I would love if you would share with me your tips for increasing your energy or protecting your energy in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video.